Hello everyone, and welcome to the candidate Q&A for our development candidates in the student selections of 2023. I'm AJ, I'm the Student Council Chair at the University of Portsmouth Students' Union. Just before we get started with the introductions, I'm going to quickly run over how the session is going to work. At first, the candidates will get 2 minutes to introduce themselves to you and anyone joining from home, where they can highlight any key points in their manifestos or anything they'd like to add. Each candidate that is here today will be presented with some preset questions. They will take it in turns to answer these. After this, we will give the candidates a chance to answer any questions posed by anyone joining us here or joining us at home. The candidates after which will be able to ask each other questions about any of the manifesto points or any answers they provided tonight. If you have any questions for the candidates, please raise your hand or post these in the comments, and we'll make sure to get to as many of them as possible. If you'd like to view the full candidates' manifestos, you can do so on the website at upsu.net/elections. Voting starts on the 20th of March at 9 AM, which is next week. Once you have watched all the questions and answers event this week, you should be able to justify your opinions on your votes. You'll be able to place these votes next week via the UPSU website or one of the polling stations around campus. So let's get started. First up, to introduce themselves, Temi.
Hi everybody, how are we doing? My name is Temi. I am the current development officer and I'm up for running the elections this week. I can't speak. This year. There we go. Before I start anything, I just want to go through some key stats for you all. According to the Cost of Living and Ageing Students England survey done during January to February this year, 91% somewhat or very worried about the rising cost of living. 49% reported financial difficulties. 58% said student loan does not even cover living costs, whilst 30 have taken on more debts or loans. 78% concerned that the rising costs will affect their studies. 46% have reported worsening in their mental health since the start of the autumn 2022. Another survey done by the Sutton Trust in January of this year stated that 47% reduced social activity, 16% traveled less to campus, 9% scaled back or drop out of university societies. But the most shocking one of them is 57% of people are worse off this year financially than last year. All the stats are mind-boggling to me, if as a person, and if you think about it, I'm obviously as a currently elected officer, another level of concern for me. This is why I have put in my first manifesto to be cost of living, to ensure that students are not affected by the cost of living crisis. First of all, by looking into society memberships and making sure it's cheaper. Second of all, by looking into the bus services we have, extending them to all the areas that students live in. I will speak to you all more about it soon.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Tony. Next up, we've got Stephen.
Hi guys. Stephen Dada is my name. I'm an international postgraduate student. I'm studying Masters in International Business and Management. I'm pretty much new around, and within my short stay, I've been able to see some things that makes me feel that we deserve better. Every student of this institution deserves better. Whatever we are enjoying now, it's good, but we can get better. And that's why I'm running for this office, because I believe that a versatile person is not one man that knows 100% of one thing, but a man that knows 1% of 100 things. So, for me, I am very much concerned about the life balance, the balance between study, between academics, and social life. And running for this office, I believe that I have a lot to offer. I have experience in leadership. I have friends from different institutions around this country, so I can borrow cues and ideas to make things better for everyone. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Stephen. Next up, we've got Hassan.
Hello, good evening. I'm Muqtadir Mahmood Hassan. I'm studying MSc in Building Information Management. Actually, I'm new in this country, so my accent could be different. My manifesto actually, I want to think that we will change the ranking because this university is very much new. Also, I see that the ranking is dramatically changed, this university. So I think that we can do better. So I think do some kind of research and internship after study. Also do some sorts of thing, cultural event, sports, and which will be take us popular in this country, and student will be interested to join this university. Also, due to I'm new and I don't know the student problem actually, so people will come to me and they will share their problem, and I will try to sort out this thing. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Moving on to Harry.
Right, everyone. I'm Harry McGee. I'm a student of film production. I've been here for 4 years. I believe that I kind of know the ins and outs of this university. I've been here before COVID, during and after. I know that the heart and soul of Portsmouth are the students, and you come to university for two things: to learn and to have fun. And I really want to push that kind of like that social aspect of uni. I know loneliness is a big issue for a lot of people at university, and I know personally joining a society was the best decision I made, and I've made some fantastic friends and I've developed as a person so much because of that. And I want to give everyone else that opportunity to join a society, meet some fantastic people, and develop themselves. That's it.
Brilliant, thank you very much. And finally, Vikram.
Hello everyone, good evening. I'm Vikrant, studying for the Development Officer position at the university for the elections happening this year. And my points are very simple. You can say it is small, but yeah, it is affecting all the students at the university. Points such as most of these solutions that the points are that I'm looking after, the solution is provided by the university, but students are not aware. So my point and my campaigning is to spread awareness about all such issues the students are facing. Students are coming, they are finishing the course, and they are leaving the university, but they don't know what benefits they are getting from the university. So I want to be very vocal about it, inform each and every student what benefits, advantages, what they can reap from the university. And this is not only academically, this can be regarding your day-to-day life, regarding your mental health, regarding your whatever help they want. I'm proposing to set up a desk which will answer any kind of student-related queries. Let it be anything, and that will be a one-stop desk which will answer any kind of student-related queries, which will help them save time, save money, and also use that time well for the studies and the well-being. That's all. Thank you.
Thank you very much, and thank you very much to all the candidates for their introductions. Now that all the candidates have been introduced, we will start with the question segment. The first segment is preset questions that the candidates had some time to consider their answers to. So starting off with the first question, what do you think is the biggest challenge faced by students at the moment? And we'll start with Tammy.
As I said, cost of living is a huge, massive issue that not just me I'm going through as an individual, but all students are going through it. Things are going expensive, and even society memberships are skyrocketing. It's estimated that twice as much people will be in debt next year. So how do we help students to be independent and resilient during this time. So looking towards ensuring that there's an activities participation fund that helps students who want to belong to the community of Portsmouth and be involved in societies and clubs that we have in the university, ensuring that the access to lecturing recordings are there if you have to work more hours to pay for your bills and for your rent, ensuring that even if you're looking for money, it's accessible to you because the university has a support fund, as you rightly said. It's just the way it's being put in that it's quite hard to get obtained. So ensuring that it's quite easy, and we have an independent solution to make sure that you have access towards this.
Thank you very much. Next on, Stephen.
Thank you very much. If you're going to ask me what is that one problem, there's a bevy of problems, but one problem, I'll say pressure. Yes, pressure. A lot of students in this school are under pressure. Academic pressure, social pressure, and of course economic pressure. Academic pressure in the sense that the way the school's models are put together, by the time students combine that with the pressure of the society, the pressure of the finances, economic pressure, it's really a big problem and is affecting a lot of students mentally, right? So if you're going to look at all these problems, you will realize that everything is under pressure. Now, if you look at, like Temia said, there's economic pressure. It's not just this country, it's all over the world. A lot of countries are sliding into recession, so people cannot even, balance themselves in terms of their earnings, whatever they say they have right now as income, as their funds, is it able to measure up with whatever they are? Then, of course, the society, for a lot of international students coming from different countries, different cultures, different weather, they come here, and then, so pressure is the main thing.
Thank you very much. Moving on to Hassan.
Actually, I told you I'm new over here, so I didn't find such type of problem, what is said, but what I face, accommodation and living expense. This is the main problem I think students face now. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Moving on to Harry.
Hi, so I would say, I think cost of living is, of course, you can't ignore it, but I would say that feeling of loneliness and isolation, whether that's because you can't afford rent or you can't afford food, you don't know where to turn, you don't know who to talk to, if you don't have friends around you, you don't know where to go. Like you said, there is things in place, but sitting alone in your room, wondering and being scared about how you're going to pay for your next meal, that's a big issue for students, and that just adds to your issues, your course, your stress, anxiety, depression. All of these things are just exacerbated by not knowing who to turn to and not knowing that there are people out there who can help you, and whether that's talking to the wellbeing service or talking to the finance departments or anything like that, there are people out there, and I think loneliness, once countered, and you're in a safe environment, you feel more confident to reach out and ask for help. And I think so, yeah, counter that.
Thank you very much, Harry. Last but not least, Crown.
Yeah, so I'll still stick to my point. Now, obviously, very well, good points are covered by everyone. I'm sure everyone has done a lot of research, what students are going through, and everyone is dealing with a very good point. But yes, as Temi rightly said, cost of living, definitely it's a big problem. But there are so many things provided by the university for tackling this issue. Like there is a scheme for student funding that most of the people I spoke to, at least 20 of them, none of them knew about that. And also small things like how to make a rail card and save some money on it. Very few people know about it. I want to spread the awareness for everyone who is not aware. They are my target audience, and make sure everyone earns money so that it will definitely help in saving some extra money for themselves. And when they are lonely, Obviously, people go to anxiety and depression, so university is providing support for tackling anxiety, going and speaking to people. Again, they are not very aware whom should they approach and how should they approach. So that's what I'm trying to spread the awareness for. These are just few of the issues I've spoken, but yeah, there are a lot of issues. Everything has a solution, just the awareness needs to be there, whom to go and whom to speak to. So I'm trying to spread that. Thank you.
Thank you very much, and thank you very much for your answers. Moving on to the second question we have for you today. What one thing would you most like to achieve or change if you were elected as a development officer? And starting with Stephen this time.
Okay, thank you. Yes, one thing I'll do, if I am given the opportunity, is to make learning fun. If you make learning fun, people, because I've listened to my colleagues here, and most of the points we are all talking about are related. People are facing a lot of challenges, so make learning fun, right? And how do we make learning fun? The first thing we need to understand is we need to know that there are three domains of learning. There is the cognitive aspect, the affective aspect, and of course the psychomotor aspect. Now the school, the academic part of the school will handle the cognitive part. As a development officer, I should focus on especially the psychomotor part, where people can be able to have opportunity to pragmatize most of the things they're learning in the classroom. Like students are aware that there are societies, there are clubs, but how many of them are members of some of the societies and clubs? The societies and clubs, how can we make them more effective such that these students can enjoy the benefits of these societies? So for me, I'll make learning fun and show that this learning is actually going to be interesting for students. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Stephen. Moving on to Hassan.
Actually, when I see that the top-ranked university, their research intensity near about 88%, but our research intensity is only 40%. So first of all, when I will be a development officer. That time I call a student what their interest and what they think about their research. According to their interest, I will contact with professor and grow interest on research on that. So I think that will be develop our university ranking. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Moving on to Harry.
The one thing that I would like to have changed sort of in my time if I do get elected would be to have removed as many barriers as possible for entry to enjoying your uni life as much as possible. Like I said earlier, I think that it's a great idea to join a society at university, but that might not be everyone's choice, but I want to have it as easy as possible. If you think that maybe joining football or maybe joining the gaming society is the thing that is going to help you at university and make your university fun, I want to have as few barriers as possible to start doing that. And that goes further onto courses and stuff in terms of enriching yourself in terms of your course. Extra studying and extra qualifications, I want to remove those barriers. That if you think that's going to help your career, then that's something that I want to help you with. I want you to be able to understand what you can do, what's available to you, and how easy it is for you to get that done. Yeah, absolutely. Making everything as easy as possible so that you come to university and you can be the best person that you can be. Cheers.
Thank you, Harry. Next up, Big Crowd.
Okay, so once I'm elected as the development officer, I have a few things in mind. I was just thinking about it the other day. First of all, I think I'll have to, first of all, listen to students, what issues they are facing, and accordingly deal with and do some research, what can be done. And afterward, I would like to take some appropriate steps to handle those kind of questions. But if I want to change something, I would definitely, what I would do is start a day like in a quarter, wherein it would be called like a smile day or a laughing day, wherein everyone at the university, whoever's at the campus, who is wearing an ID card for sure, will just look up and give a smile to the person who's just passing by. Because yeah, I've seen that everyone is very hassled and everyone is going through their own stress and their problems. So just looking up, giving a smile, and spreading the happiness in the university campus is something that I would look up to. Thanks.
Thank you very much for your answer. Last but not least, Tammy.
I feel the essence of this job, development officer, is to develop students to be the best for their future jobs. And something we're lacking currently in this union is the fact that we don't organize events that, in terms of skill-based events, that daytime skill-based events that will help students for their future careers. So ensuring that students have networking events, workshop events that, in terms of stress relief events that could help you in terms of your assessment, ensuring that you could develop skills, for example, in societies and course schemes that we have currently. Ensuring that you actually know what skills you're getting out of that is something I'm looking forward to putting in place for next year. Obviously, we started with the SWIN analysis and with the dev team, but actually, how do we make sure that it's open to all students? Obviously, we're currently targeting the engaged students, but how do we target the entire body of students we have? We have 33,000 students, and they all came to this university to they came here for career and future prospects. So how do we help them? So looking into projects, for example, that will help with your commercial awareness, with your networking skills, with your interaction people. These are skills that students need in their future careers, and still skills that we are currently missing because we're not organizing daytime events for students. So putting this in place will ensure that we, as a union and as an organization, ensure the future of our students here in Portsmouth. Thank you.
Thank you very much, and thank you to all candidates for their answers. Next up, we've got the question of, what do you think is the most important issue surrounding student development at the moment? This time, starting with Hassan.
Actually, most of the students thinking that what they will do after finishing their study, they are worried about that. So that's why I am thinking that after finish their study, we will get some sorts of voluntary job or something like that. It will be helpful for them, for their future career. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Moving on to Harry.
Yeah, I thought this was a bit of a difficult question to answer. I was hoping someone else would answer first, a couple more. But it's fine, I'll take a crack at it. Obviously, there's lots of issues facing student development, but I would say, I think, going back to what I was saying earlier about removing barriers, sort of signposting, I think a lot of students don't know what's available to them and how they can grow themselves. Like I was saying earlier, like in my first year, I was once mentioned that I could get an accreditation for like Adobe Illustrator. Never mentioned again. I have no idea how I would have gone about doing that. But had I gone to graphic design, that would have really helped my career. I want to remove these sort of like I said, barriers of entry, but signposting, making students aware of what is available to them and how they can grow themselves and develop themselves. There's only so much we can do as development officers if any of us get elected. It's just providing these opportunities and providing this chance for students to grow themselves. And if the more information they have about that, the more they know about themselves and what they can do, the better for them. So hopefully that answers that question.
Thank you very much. Moving on to Big Frank.
So I think rather than talking what students should do after the course, most of the people I speak to, they are more worried about today and tomorrow, like how to get a part-time job and how to get your earnings to take care of your daily chores. And yeah, so I think that is something that I wanted to look into and give and provide student options of what are available for getting the part-time jobs. And also what they can do today is get the voluntary jobs, which the careers team is very supportive and helpful, because I've got one myself, and which will definitely help them to build their CV and get some expertise in the course that they are doing. which will definitely be helpful for them once they finish the course. So yeah, that's what I'll do.
Thank you very much. Next up, Sam.
Currently, something that is a massive issue with the university and something that we've had numerous discussions personally and numerous staffs have had a discussion with the university is the fact that engagement in terms of actually going to lectures and actually engaging in course materials is lackluster currently. Looking into numbers, quite a lot of students don't go to lectures and they're missing out on the key information that university is giving. Actually, universities are not even looking at the reasons why students are not going. They keep saying, oh, students are not coming, students are not coming. But why is it? Because why are they not coming? I can tell you why. Because first of all, the lecture material is boring. It's outdated sometimes. So looking into ensuring that the things that lecturers are trying to give to students in terms of information is captivating and intuitive, so that students could obtain skills out of this is something that students, in terms of development, we have to work on as union and ensuring that we promote student engagement continuously. And as you say this, it's not just this university, it's a sector thing where students don't tend to go, especially after COVID, students don't go to lectures anymore. They feel, what's the use of going to lectures, I could watch it at home. So, but quite a lot of skills you get are from your lectures. You could ask the lecturers questions there. So how do you ensure that students are engaging with the content that students and lecturers are giving? As I said, exploring the other options. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And finally, Stephen.
Right. I would say communication. Communication is a major issue here. And when I say communication, what do I mean? For a new student who is just coming to the school, she wouldn't know that there's so many opportunities available for you from the desk of the school and of course from the desk of the student union. Why? Because this information is not obvious, right? If not that I was interested in running for this office, I wouldn't have to go deep into the student union website to even look under the development segment to see opportunities, to even see that I could join societies. So what this is to me is that the school, even the student union, needs to create more platforms where students can have access to opportunities. A lot of students are suffering in this school because they did not know about certain opportunities in the school, right? Also, how can you help someone when you don't even know what they want? So whatever you're going to be offering to them is not going to be useful to them, right? So we have to create like a platform where we can get students in what they want, and it will help us to be able to give them what they want.
Thank you very much, and thank you to the candidates for their answers. And our final question is, what do you think can be done to improve welfare with students engaging in student groups and societies, starting with Harry?
Fortunately, this one I actually do know a bit about. It's no secret that I'm very sport heavy. I've been on committee for 3 years. I started as a social sec, so basically my concerns were student welfare on a night out, and then I became VP, which became more in focus on student welfare generally. And now I'm president of men's rugby, and that's all I do as well. I look out for my members of my club. I only know how to do that because of the training that I've received as part of Sport and Rec. I would make sure that training is spread equally well across the student interest groups here at the UPSU, as well as Sport and Rec, because I know how to sort of identify a problem, and I know when something's building and how to cut it off and fix it before it becomes an issue. And I think empowering people on committee to do that is a fantastic idea. We've also had recently some bystander training and stuff like that, knowing when to intervene in problems. I think that should be brought earlier in the year because that's from some of the line culture reviews, and that should be brought earlier in the year because that we can recognise and stop things early, like I said, before they become problems. But more importantly, it shouldn't just be for committee. I learned a lot, and a lot of my welfare sects and stuff like that, I've learned a lot, but we should be putting on workshops and stuff like that so that the students can come in and they hear what we learn, so they can spot for their friends. Because it's not just people in charge, it should be everyone caring about everyone else.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Moving on to Vikram.
Sorry, could you please repeat that question?
Repeat the question, of course. What do you think can be done to improve welfare for students engaging in student groups and societies?
So for engaging students to the societies, obviously that I still stick to the same point. Their awareness is very important. They should be knowing what exists and what can they join. So letting them know what all societies are available, and also getting in touch with the societies and giving them the ideas that can help them to get people together, to get people gel them together, so that apart from the academic studies, they also have other avenues to go to, like sports. Means I was not aware when I joined cricket at the university that the training is happening on a particular day. So I had to miss that. Obviously, so I don't want something like this to happen, wherein activities are happening, but people don't know what's happening, when it is happening, and so spread the word around and let everyone, whoever wants to participate in a particular event, spread the word. Yeah.
Thank you very much, Vikram. Next up, Tammy.
This is something that I have worked really hard on with Tash, the current welfare officer, to ensure that all our students are safe. Something that I really think we should continuously do is offering support and guidance in terms of offering skill-based opportunities to our student leaders and members to ensure that they know how to deal with situations. As Average rightly said, how to deal with situations. Obviously, as you said, students are the one dealing with situations. I currently work in a pub, and I have to deal with quite a lot of drunk people. So quite a lot of training would have helped me in situations. Ensuring that we offer mentoring schemes to help students develop in their skills also will help in terms of enforcing information towards students. And finally, ensuring that we listen to students, because students will tell you what they need majority of the time. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Next up, Stephen.
Okay, I think the first thing to do is to understand their cause. Right, when you understand their cause, then we can now look at how we can make things better. If you do not understand the cause of the students, understand the cause of these student societies, how would you prefer or provide welfare for them? So first, understand their cause. And that's why, like I keep saying, communication is very important. Feedback mechanisms, very important. When you understand their cause, you know how to align, you know how to solve their problems, you know how to make things better, you know how to organize events that would actually be reflective in their student lives. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And last but not least, Hassan.
For student welfare, we can arrange sports, various sports competition in every month. It will be create a good for them, for student. We have various departments like drama, others musical department, and they can show their activities in various ways. It will be created better for them. Also, we will do some kind of language club. Also, we have, but we'll try to do it better for the international student. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, and thank you for the candidates and their answers. That concludes the first segment of the pre-set questions. We will now move on to the questions from the audience or anyone joining from home. So if you'd like to ask a question, please raise your hand and you will get one.
Hi, my name is Maisie. I'm current president of Groups Exec for the union. Training of committee members and student groups has been chucked around quite a lot, and sort of welfare. Obviously, this isn't a welfare role, but in terms of student groups and sport and rec, it does come into its own really. So, from a UPSU point of view, bystander training has been offered to all committee members on student groups by the current welfare officer. However, the current process for reporting issues of all kinds can be quite daunting for a lot of people. What would each of you suggest as development officer candidates to make everyone feel comfortable in reaching out to the union?
Thank you very much for that question. Does anyone feel confident to start?
That's a great question. I should say welfare is a key issue, especially because we deal with quite a lot of sports societies and clubs and societies in general. Different people interacting with each other. In terms of ensuring that people are feel comfortable enough to come up to you and actually talk to you about what's going on with them. Ensuring that the process we have is as easy and accessible as possible. Currently, obviously, I'm not sure if you all know, the university has its own reporting scheme. The union has one, Spamrec has one. It's all complicated. Ensuring that there's a joint reporting scheme in which where if one person reports to Spamrec or university, we all get a inform about what's going on basically, so we all know how to support this person. It's all about supporting the person and ensuring that that person doesn't feel like a victim. Obviously, they've gone through a traumatic experience. Ensuring that there's appropriate support for that person is key. This is something I'm also working currently on in terms of ensuring that the code of conduct with university, Spamrec and groups are aligned, ensuring that we are all collective in terms of dealing with situations in terms of welfare. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Would anyone else like to answer that question?
Yeah,
Go ahead, Sam.
if I would like to answer that question, I'd say that one of the things we can do is to ensure that we open up more communication platforms where students can be able to freely convey their challenges to the union. And aside that, let's also make this place a bit more accessible to people, a bit more appealing to people to come. Sometimes you just come here and then it's just crowded and you don't really see much fun stuff around and then you just go back, right? So if we make it more appealing, make this place more student-friendly, they would feel very free to always come to this place, to see this place as a fortress. Also, like I talked about students' communication platforms, apart from the student union platform, we could also create some hashtags for students randomly, just whatever you're going through, just tweet or go on Instagram using the hashtags. We always pick it up, we'll solve your problem, we get back to you. So for me, I think we need to be able to communicate what we have in stock for the students. We need to be able to allow the students to communicate with us. That means we need to open up more communication platforms. It's easy for them to convey their problems and then we solve their problems.
Thank you very much.
Do you mean in terms of people reporting issues to members of committees to the societies or just in general?
Yeah, so from my experience, obviously as groups exec, a lot of the reporting will either come through email or it will come through people physically coming to the group drop-in on Wednesday to come speak to myself or Temi or Mike or anyone that's there. Obviously coming to speak to people in person or even sending an email can be quite daunting for a lot of people, so it's just sort of like alternative measures.
Right, for sure. I think, from a sport and rec sort of talking about how I've received training, I kind of could put myself out there as a point of contact. I think that kind of hierarchy of like a chain of command, if you will, of someone on your society that you know and you feel comfortable talking to, knowing that they're qualified to talk to you about that, and they can chat to you, and it's all about sort of understanding an issue and signposting to the right place. Oftentimes, you might have had enough training, but it's way out of your depth. And being there, opening that conversation so people can speak to you, and then you know exactly, my next point of contact is for a sport, a VP, or my next point of contact is speaking to the president, and they'll move it on. And if it's too much for them, they move it up the chain. And it's just about people being comfortable to flag problems. Because there's loads of things across the uni, and it's just signposting to the right place, getting the information getting the person to the right place.
That's great, thank you. Would anyone else like to answer that question?
I feel that instead of students coming to the union to address or have their problems answered, I think we can also try to reach out to the students, like have some representatives from the student union who will be available at particular locations on a particular day, so that instead of students coming to the union every time and having a long walk, or we can place some representatives which will also which will also open more opportunities for people, who can be working voluntarily or, who will get an opportunity to work for the university. So yeah, going to the students to solve their problems can also be an option, I guess.
Brilliant, thank you very much. Anyone else like to move on? Okay, do we have any more questions?
Hello, I have a question on Instagram for you. So, would you prioritise sports if you were to get elected? And if so, why?
Thank you very much.
Development officer is not just the sport officer. The development officer is the sport activities and development in terms of future readiness. So all this in your role needs to be achieved for you to be able to represent the students. Being that there's no VP sports, I can't just prioritize sports. Sports obviously is a major priority for me, obviously, as it's part of my job, but I have other priorities to ensure that we are equally represented in City University and to best 2,000 students.
I'll definitely prioritize sports. And I'll tell you why I prioritize sports. Sport is one thing that unites people. Sport does not know race, does not know religion, does not know ideology. Sport is a language. So I'll prioritize sport. And one of the things I'll do for you to know that I'll prioritize sport is when I came to this school, the first place I went to was, I think, the gym center. I wanted to register, and I found out how much it cost monthly. And I felt for a student that's quite high. So the first thing I'll do is to ensure that if it's possible, to beat down that price or give discount, but maybe better discount for students. Then, of course, also, like I said, I have kind of relationship with students from universities across the country. So we could also, organize matches with the University of Southampton, and other schools from time to time. Apart from just football, we have different types of sports. I love lawn tennis. There are so many other sports, students can engage in just to ease yourself of that stress that we're talking about.
Thank you very much.
I'd like to say that while I'm very sporty myself, and I know the benefits of sport, not just like socially, but physically as well, like the dopamine and exercising is great for you. I know that sport isn't for everyone. Absolutely, for a long time it wasn't for me. I just came to uni and I really clicked with rugby. But it's development officer, like Timmy was saying, it's not obviously one part of it is sport, but it's just developing students in any way you can. And if that's joining an interest group rather than joining a sports society, that's absolutely something that I want to develop as well. It's again going back to that idea of barriers for entry and enjoying your student life, however that you see fit. If that's joining a sports society, then I really recommend it. But if it's joining like I say, gaming or just joining the LGBT society and just making some friends, we want that opportunity and people to know about that and know for a place that they can go and enjoy themselves. And yeah.
Brilliant, thank you very much. Does anyone else want to answer?
Sports give you recreation. So it will help both physically and mentally for the student. And if we do such kind of competition among them, they will get more interested on that. So it's a good thing for the student. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
I'd just like to make a point here. Obviously, as a development officer, I'm not being elected as a sports development officer. So obviously, my first priority, there won't be any bias against any particular sport or activity. So yeah, everyone should be free to join whatever they like, whatever interests them the most. For example, with me, I'm a sports person. Definitely, I would like to go for sports. But someone who's more interested in a dance or a similar kind of activity, so they should be free to. And so yeah, so developing all the channels that is there for the students would be the priority for me.
Thank you very much. Do we have any other questions? Round back.
Yeah, What will you do in your roles if you were elected to make as many different types of students feel included in your development plans?
Thank you very much for the question. Who's feeling brave enough to get some? Stephen.
This is an international school. And people in this school come from different backgrounds, have different cultures. And a lot of people have different ideologies. At the same time, we're studying different courses. So, how can each of these students benefit from the student union? Number one, that's why we have various societies. You can go through the list on the development page of the student union to see the available societies. If you feel that there's a society, there's an ideology you have, and there's some people in your that share your school of thought, and you want to form a society, why not? You create a society under the student union. We give you all the support. Apart from joining the society, apart from joining sports club, if you feel that there are things that you expect from the student union, and that's why I talked about communication, talked about feedback mechanisms. We should be able to create platforms where students can tell us what they want. When we know what they want, then we know how to give to them what they want.
Thank you for your answer. Does anyone else want to answer?
Do you mind saying the question again for me? Sorry.
Yeah, I said, what would you do in your role to make sure as many students as possible feel included in your development plans?
A massive thing I've been working over the last year is to ensure that there's variety in food in this building and across the campus, basically. Ensuring that we celebrate the over 60 plus different cultures and traditions we have in this university. So ensuring that we are inclusive, that word is being used everywhere, but it actually being exclusive to students from all around the world that we are recruited. So the idea initially was to look into cultural foods constantly, but actually that's not feasible. Why are we doing it on the days where they're celebrating the country? Why can't we continuously, actively, proactively do this? That's something that I will continuously put into place where we are actually celebrating different cultures. Because as you rightly said, we have quite a lot of international students coming to this university. I'm proud of that. That's a good idea because I want us to be quite diverse in terms of the number of people, inclusive to the number of people that we have in the university. So how do we celebrate those students that we ask them to come to this university? So constant, not just the days where they have like, Nigerian Independence Day, which is like a Nigerian food, constantly introducing different cultures that we have as university, celebrating them, because they are magnificent. I'm a foodie, so I'm not sure if you clocked. I'm a massive foodie. So food is something that brings people together, and I feel if we get that, especially so, that's a big thing.
Thank you for your answer.
So obviously societies have been spoken about a lot today, because that is a big focus for sort of the development officer. But not everyone wants to join a society, like I say, for whatever reason. But my main focus for people outside of societies would be the building that we're in right now. A lot of the branding around here is the union, but this is the students' union. You should feel like this is the place to be when you're a student. When you're doing something outside of studying and working out, you should be coming here, seeing your friends, or making new ones. Because these are all students around here and they're all doing the same thing you are. They're all looking for a place to relax, a place to sort of call home, I suppose. A home away from home. And whether that's just having more things like the kilo sale and stuff like that, or having like a day of like a market day or whatever for food, but this is the place that they can come and there's something on for them, whatever it is, and that they can come and enjoy. They can come and meet new people, meet old people, meet their friends before going somewhere else. We could use the outside. I mean, in the summer it's lovely around here. Like you can get food trucks, whatever it is. I mean, foodie. No, I'm not stealing your idea. But like this space should be somewhere you want to come to, and not just a place you come for a Q&A, you know? It should be the beating heart of Portsmouth, really should be.
Thank you very much. Would any of the other candidates like to answer that question? Yep. Thank you very much. That concludes the second segment of today, and now we will move on to the last, where I'd like to give the opportunity to the candidates to ask other candidates any questions regarding manifestos or anything discussed today. So, does any candidate have a question? Go ahead.
As I've done this job for a year, I do know quite a lot of things, Jack. This for you actually. You said something about you want to make student life better. How do you intend to do this? Obviously you've said it, but what exactly will you be doing to ensure that student life is better?
Yeah, thank you very much for that opportunity. One of the things I do, let me tell you, I love to make people happy. I love to make people laugh. So how would I make the life of the students better? I've looked around the school. Why can't we have a campus cinema for students, whereby if you're paying maybe £10, I don't know, £5, I don't know, we're outside of the school, because there's a cinema on campus, you pay quite less, cheaper. Maybe you have, I've had, during the week, I have lectures from 9 a.m. to 7 p.m. As a postgraduate student, that's stressful, right? So, but even in between those times, I think there are times I have like maybe 1 hour, I could just use that to ease my stress, right? That's just one part. The second part is the fact that we have a lot of, especially international students, that have come here and are having serious issues with accommodation. That's a big one. So, I know the student union, there was a time, I think they did accommodation fair or something like that. Yeah, we could improve on that. We could make that better. Also, we could also make this school more fun. Like the student union, like I said, the building, we could,
Apologies, Stephen, but
with
respect to time, we're going to have to cut it there. Thank you very much. Does anyone else have any questions?
I wrote all the questions.
Go on,
Sorry.
Tom.
This question's been, I know obviously there's sorry. Yeah. Yeah. Thank you. I know there's obviously the university hatching fund and you want to alight them and promote them to students. Great. But currently the university hatching fund is 8 pages long. And students find it really hard and inaccessible to access it. How do you intend to make sure that accessibility of the archive fund is better? Obviously, I've currently tried to work towards it. I've been working with the university about it, but how would you do it?
You mean the
funding that the funding the university has?
Gives us, right?
Because currently, as I said, it's 8 pages long, and once students see that, they automatically turn off and say, I'm not going to do this. How do you intend to make sure that, because of those 8 pages, students are not missing out the money that the university actually has?
Okay, to answer that question of yours, I have not researched how the university helps, what are the laws. I have just gone online and I have seen that the university is willing to provide this. It's on the website, so I'm sure it's for the benefit of the students that university has put it. So now, if university is not able to put it at the moment, I think we should take it out from the website, because if something that we cannot give at the moment, we should not put it on the. We should not be putting it up on the website. And yeah, so once we have a clearer picture, once we have all the laws in place, and then we can again try and put it on the website and provide that access to the students.
Thank you. Thank you very much. In a fair debate, we're going to try to shift. If anyone else has any questions for any other candidates?
Okay, I'd like to ask a question to Tony. So you said about the cost of living. So the cost of living, how are we trying to make it better for the students? What plans have you lined up for making the cost of living better for the students?
Yeah, thank you. That's actually a big bulk of what I do currently. Cost of living is taking up the majority of my manifesto actually. We currently are looking to speak to university. Actually, we spoke to university to get the advice service that we have here to give independent advice to students to make sure that the university hatching fund is easily accessible. Obviously, as I said, it's 8 pages long. How do we make it as easy as possible? We currently do ECF advice. Why can't we do that for finance? Another thing that I've been doing is looking into the union to start support fund for students for activities. Obviously, as I said, I'm trying to make it bigger in terms of actually investing money. But currently, as a union, we're looking to make a support fund for students. So if you're struggling, you could apply towards this and then go to your membership or whatever activity you want to do. This would also link to the University Hatchet Fund. So what would happen is if you come to the union and ask for support with your university application, you could automatically be rolled on to the Union Action Fund, and that will be instant. So you'll straight to your bank account, and you'll be able to support yourself towards waiting for the University Hatchet Fund. A piece of idea that I'm working on is looking into the key services we have in the university, as you rightly said. Quite a lot of students don't know where they are, so looking to make sure that we elect them. So an idea is to ensure that with the key services, we could say, for example, do the chili con carne today, and we say we put the kidney beans in first environments, we put the rice in our service, so students have to go to the different services to get the food. It's like a treasure hunt. It's quite fun. At the same time, you know where it is, basically.
Tammy, we had to cut you off in fairness of time. Do we have any more questions for any other candidates? If not, thank you very much. And that would conclude tonight's Q&A session. Just a quick reminder for everyone watching at home, please remember that if you do have any other questions, you can leave them in the comments section and we will make sure the candidates see them. You can also meet the candidates next Wednesday at the elections fair in the Union building and discuss their goals and manifestos and anything else you want to ask them in person. Once again, we would like to remind you that voting week is taking place next week. Voting starts at 9 AM on Monday, that's the 20th of March, and closes 1 PM on Friday on the 24th of March. There are lots of prizes up for grabs when you take part in voting, and it's an amazing opportunity to have your say in who represents you and your colleagues for the next year. Thank you again for watching and for joining us here. And join us tomorrow for the Development Officer questions and answer sessions we will see next week. Yeah. Learning experience. Mess up in the script.
It's fine.
Thank you very much, everyone. Thank you to the candidates.